Hi, I'm Ann Shapiro, and I'm the Executive Director of the Connecticut Storytelling Center. We produce the annual Connecticut Storytelling Festival and Conference, which is coming to you soon via Zoom on April 23rd and 24th. Linda Gorham is going to be with us at the festival and tell us some wonderful stories, and I have her with me here today. And Linda, I wanted to ask you, what kind of stories do you like to tell the most and why?
Thanks, Anne. I'm looking forward to the festival. I would love to be coming to Connecticut, but hey, that's how it is in these days. Um, I enjoy, I think the thing I enjoy creating the most are twisted fairy tales. Taking a tale that people know and just telling it in a completely different way. For those of you who are saying, now, what does she mean? One of the stories I tell is the story of Little Red Riding Hood, but it has Motown songs in it. So I call it Little Red Takes the Motown A Train to Big Mama's Brick House. I tell the chocolate version of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I tell the Isation version of um, Three Little Pigs. What's Isation? I try to use as many words that have either the term Asian or Isation in the telling the story. It's almost like a building block for me when I do those kinds of stories. For the chocolate story, I just wrote down every kind of chocolate I could think of and then said, what story will this work in and how do I just incorporate it? So it's kind of like putting those pieces together. The same for the one with the Motown songs. I just made a list of my favorite because I grew up with Motown and I plugged them all in. Um, I'm going to write a story about golf terms or football terms one day, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But I watch a lot of golf and a lot of football on TV, and I play golf, so it would be fun to try to do that. Um, so that's one category that I really enjoy, and it's really fun for festivals and for adults. Um, but I was asked a long time ago, why do you only tell fairy tales? Because that's how I started. And people said, well, why don't you tell stories about your family? And I said, well, I don't tell stories about my family. I don't have any stories. And they say, well, you tell us stuff. Why don't you put them in a story? I found it really hard to do what they call personal stories because you have to really dig down and think, and some of the stories are hard and some of the stories are fun, and then it's a real creation process to put them together to make them interesting. But I enjoy that now because I'm proud of my family and I'm proud of what they've been through. And I was surprised that people were interested in those stories of my family. And I was even more surprised that people would say, oh, my father used to do that, or my grandmother had a plastic covered couch, or on and on and on and on. And I didn't realize that stories that I grew up with just by living with my family mirrored what a lot of other people remembered. So that's the second category that I would say I really enjoy sharing with audiences. And the third category came out of request again. Once again, I was telling folk tales. I've been doing this for 30 years. I was telling folk tales, and someone said, well, why not? Do you have any historical stories? And I said, no. And it was I think it was a school district, and they said, well, we'd like to hear some historical stories. Can you write some? Any storyteller will relate to this. You on the phone say, sure, I'll do that. And then you hang up and go, oh, snap, what did I agree to? But I found that researching stories, it fit what I like to do as I like to find the story. I like to find the information, find out about the people who lived in a certain time, in a certain era. Most of them are African Americans that I decided to write about. And I also found that I had some connections in my own life with a lot of these people that I had started to research. So when I find the connection, it gives me the impetus to really work hard at doing the research. So those are almost always done in elementary, middle, or high school settings. But I feel as if I'm really sharing something important. And I'm sharing it in a way that maybe the history books can't share it, and I'm making the audience walk into the world that I'm trying to describe and hopefully give them a sense of exactly how that felt to be there, to go through what many of these people that I choose to share about went through. And some examples are the story of the Little Rock Nine and school integration. Those are the 9 high school students, the 9 African-American high school students who integrated Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. And even the story of Rosa Parks and her determination, her quiet, majestic determination to stay seated and not give up her seat. That just resonated with me. So I guess that would be my answer to your question. I have personal stories, I have twisted fairy tales, and I have a whole bunch of historical stories, and then a lot of other stuff in between, because that's how we operate. But I'll bring some of those stories to the Connecticut Storytelling Festival, and I hope that people who are watching this will come and hear me and all the other wonderful tellers that are going to be there.
Thanks so much, Linda. I will be there. I can't wait.
Good. Oh, you have to be there.
But I'm looking forward to it anyway. See you there, everybody. Bye-bye.